Alright, hey guys, so gonna be a little quiet because it's like 12 a.m. here, but regardless, I'll be recording the part 2 of the guide. This time we'll be going over mid-game, so level 51 to 95. So we'll be going over kind of the steps in between and what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. So starting out, we'll be going over skill point distribution. Mainly, you want to continue focusing on movement and speed. By level 50, you should have at least 10 movement, 5 reload. And then from there, if you're heavy, hold the line. If you're an assault, adrenaline, if you're going purely nightmare. Um, or if you're going purely contracts, you want 25 killing spree. Because killing spree is amazing in contracts. And after you're done investing those skills, if you're an assault, get the say you're an assault and you're going for killing spree because contracts invest in adrenaline after, if or vice versa. Because killing spree really helps for a nightmare build. Killing spree is still really helpful, especially if you got a lot of points in it. But it's mainly helpful for contracts and leveling. And as for the heavy, you want to invest in tough body because tough body is an amazing skill. At 25 points, you take over 50% less damage from zombies, which is amazing. And I, I I'll stress this again: do not put any points in critical shot. Ideally, you could put one, and it won't be the end of the world, but no more. It's just not a good skill. But yeah. And as for the assault, because I'll just go on my level 35 here for reference. Maxing out adrenaline and killing spree, and then once you reach level 70, that's when you should start investing body armor expert, because by then you'll probably have 1 or 2 good black armor pieces to make use of this. If you're really unlucky and you don't have any black armor, I would invest movement up to 15 or even 20, and maybe a little bit more in reload if you're not using Medusa helmet. I mean, even if you're using a shock field by any chance, then you should not be no, you should be focusing on capping your reload or getting it as close to the cap as possible. As for normal guns, kind of wear out by level 50 with the exception of stripper. If you have a really good normal stripper by any chance, it will still be really good. But other than that, no. And as for red guns, stripper, best bossing weapon. Even better if you get it in black. Actually, no, I have it on this character, so I won't have to worry about it. Collection. Stripper, best bossing weapon if you have it on the assault and medic. On the heavy, it's outclassed by the proton, but the proton is a paid weapon, so let's just say the stripper is better. And the Jupiter is also really good. Best gun for nightmare between level 50 to 100, or just whenever you can get it. If you can get a red one, it'll easily last you to level 100. Make sure you put up 20 field supplies for it because it's basically free high damage ammo. If you continuously play nightmare. If you don't play nightmare mode, then yeah, that's a little bit unfortunate. You're gonna struggle with ammo, unless if you want to get high damage, so you have to stick with regular mostly. But that's still fine because the contracts won't really require you to use HDA. Zombies aren't that strong there. Subpar choices for mid game include the Tempest. It's good for bio, but it's way worse than mobbing the Jupiter, and it's outclassed by the Shock Field, which I have on this character, a red one to show off. Shock Field. If you have this is one of the few guns that is still useful end game at red 10-3. Just as a bio weapon, I would not put adaptive on it. The main reason I put adaptive is because I'm a really DPS oriented player. I don't really need bio on a shock field, on a red shock field, on assault heavy. Like I can do fine without, but if I was to start a new character and I was going for 0 deaths, I would put bio on this absolutely. So yeah, stripper, red or black, Jupiter. If you get a black Jupiter, absolutely, and you're playing nightmare, absolutely put 1 or 2 points of field supplies because I mean, it was really expensive. Like I used this thing, I had for like a day or two, I had 2 points of field supplies, and I got like 55,000 ammo on this thing. No, actually way more. I got like 70k ammo on this, and I spec'd out of it, and it lasted me all the way till I got enough cores to max out the shock field. And next we'll actually be talking about cores, since we're on the topic. Savage Devastated Elites are the only bosses before 96 I can drop cores, because 96 is when you can start fighting Necrosis Elites. They have the Devastated Elites only have a 5% chance to drop cores per nano, making them very inefficient for core grinding. If you get some cores, definitely hold on to them. They'll come in handy. But don't blow them away like they're nothing. Like, I've seen so many people core red shock fields, even red strippers, black Jupiters, even red Jupiters. Oh, it's no. Oh yeah, another sub choice is the hotspot, but I wouldn't core this unless you have a really high grade one, which is really hard to find, by the way. But yeah, back on to cores. The only guns I would core mid game are the stripper and the shock field. Shock field at least grade 7, stripper grade 10. Mainly I would get the 4th augment slot on the shock field. I would put bio probably for a assault, deadly overclock bio capacity for black one, and for the heavy I actually prefer using an adaptive shock field because I put bio on my stripper. But yeah, bio stripper is really good on heavy. It can work on assault too, but it's just better on heavy than it is on the assault. Because while you boss, you can regenerate health, and as a heavy, you take less HP or just less damage in general. So you don't have to regen as much, which means you don't really need the shock shield's regen. And yeah, armor. The only armor pieces you can possibly find at a high grade early on are the Power Assist and the Medusa Vest. The Titan pieces and graphene pants that you want for endgame, they usually come in below grade 8, and that's really controversial if you want to core. And if you do, you should just wait till 96 to do that. Coring your weapons will be way more worth it early on. Like, you see, at level 70, I already have. Oh yeah, I might be sounding like a hypocrite because I have Black Titan boots and gloves, and my gloves are grade 8, boots are grade 7. They are viable to be cored, but the thing is I kind of did some black box rerolling on this character. That's how I got so much black gear, and I bought a Nightmares veteran pack. So yeah, that's how I have all this black gear. Like, that's how my medic got his black shock field. I rerolled for it, and the rest of the stuff I just got from buying a Nightmare veteran pack or two. I think I bought 2 on this character actually. Oh yeah, and another tip: don't use this helmet. Don't. It's really bad if I put this on. God, my movement gets butchered. I put it using this. No, it's not worth it. Trust me on that. And as for XP, Last Man Standing is the best event for XP, but just for general XP, the best place to grind is Zombie Hotspot still. Jupiter is the best non-premium gun to use on Hotspot. If you have a premium gun, use that, unless it's a Proton. Which if you have the Proton, you know why I shouldn't use it. Contagion, this thing is the best thing ever for contract. Cheap to use, cheap to buy, can be used from level 1, and it gets the job done. If you're playing on C-Lab, I would recommend the Ricochet. Wait, what? Oh, that's a weird bug. Freaking sassy, right? But yeah, I would recommend the Ricochet. It's really good on C-Labs, and it can be really good on Uranium Mine as well. The Fallen is really good on Uranium Lab. Mine, not Lab. But a lot of noobs see this weapon and think, oh my god, this is the ultimate weapon. 35,000 damage per shot? This must be the most broken weapon in the game. No. While this thing is exceptional at killing purge nests, it can literally one-shot them. As a general weapon, it's really bad. It has even capped. The reload is at 2.8 seconds. That's really bad. That's longer than a shock field without any reload modifier. And the fact that you only have 2 bullets in the clip is huge. Like, this is one of the guns that I would say it's worth putting one base core in it just so you can get the clip to 3, because it's really, really just it's a really suboptimal gun. Despite what people tell you, despite the gun looking like the most impressive thing ever, no. Also, on the downside, this gun does 50% damage against bosses, making it really just. If the movement penalty hadn't slowed you, if the reload time hadn't slowed you, if the 2 clip hadn't slowed you, then the half damage against bosses should tell you that this is not a bossing weapon. If you want a bossing premium gun, the only thing you should get is this. This thing is amazing. Don't get me wrong, I love using this thing. It's incredible. I have over 2,000 boss kills on it. I have 2 max core proton arcs. It's an amazing gun, but it's $40. I'm not sure if you want to buy that. Yeah. And as for other premiums I recommend, but you should not buy unless you have the money to splurge. Kelvin is really good for just general use. Very as great utility to slow bosses down, which you might struggle to outrun because of like raging devastators or just bug necrosis spawns that move super fast. This can really help with that. Because cryoturrets aren't always the most accurate thing, and you rely on AI. And another premium that I really like is the Star Fury, but this thing is really only good on the assault. The heavy can't really make use of this, sadly. But the assault can. It's really good on the assault, in my opinion. Really fun to use on backseat, especially. So yeah, now moving on to my recommendation. My recommendation would be ignore Nightmare before level 50, and ideally, in the most ideal circumstance, don't play Nightmare to level 96 and find a level 100 chat. In the Discord server that is in the description below, there is a level 96 plus chat. Welcome to everyone. That's welcome to everyone who's above level 96. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to access it, obviously, but there's daily 400 games that happen there, and it's really just much better grinding 400 for cash and cores than it is grinding lower level Nightmare. Because lower level Nightmare, it takes longer. The chances of getting cores are abysmal, like literally 0%, and overall, it's just kind of bad compared to grinding 400. So yeah. My personal recommendation towards newcomers to this game, avoid Nightmare to level 50, because if you're not level 50 and you're not using weapons like the Stripper, Shockfield, Jupiter, or the red 004, Strike Force, Raptor, and RH20 Striker, like if you're not using these weapons before, you're gonna struggle a ton. Like if you're using a normal hotspot, unless you're a heavy, like if you're using a normal hotspot, you're gonna get destroyed because you're not gonna have enough pierce to everything. And if you're an assault, you won't have enough pierce or damage to activate killing. So we're in Nightmare mode, trust me on this. And if you're using like a CM505 for whatever reason, yeah, just no, you're gonna get destroyed. Low level Nightmare, it's not effective. It takes a lot of time. You're probably gonna find Wickers and Regurgitators, which don't give a lot of cash. The only thing that you would get that's valuable is if you get a key. And because Regurgitators, Mechs, and Wickers only spawn 3 boxes, the chances of you getting a key is much lower than if you were to say be fighting a Devastator and Necrosis, where you can get 4 or 5 boxes respectively. That's why I would recommend just avoid Nightmare to level 50, because by level 50, you have much better gear. You'll most likely have a red Jupiter and Stripper, and you can actually like survive in Nightmare without dying every 5 seconds, because trust me, that's not fun. So yeah, that's pretty much everything I have to say. Overall, don't overall don't care don't die over cores, black chitin pieces, and graphene pans. Just play the game as it comes. You'll get black pieces like Paris and the Medusa helmet. Those are pretty common. The black stripper too, below level 60 and above level 80. The black stripper is incredibly common. The black Jupiter is pretty common too, but it's not an endgame gun. And shock field is really rare, so you usually have to reroll for it. But if you get it, absolutely keep it. If it's grade 6, you might want to contemplate, but if it's grade 7 or above, definitely start putting cores into it. And same with the stripper if it's grade 10. Focus on movement and damage, that's most important. And only worry about body armor expert once you're level 70 or above, usually. And oh yeah, tough body, this is good even without good armor, because while tough body is generally an investment skill, whereas the more resistance you have, the more tough body will help you out. It's still really good because having 25 points in this is basically equivalent of having 54% resistance, which is incredible. Because like what the math behind tough body is, like say because I'm a heavy, check it out. I have max resistances, so I know from a zombie I normally take 1% damage, but with tough body I take 0.5% damage. So I basically have what tough body does is it halves incoming damage, so it doesn't like add to your resistance. It just halves damage at 25 points, but at 23 it halves damage. At 25, it's 54%. So personally, it's still a really useful skill to have, just because it's like a safety barrier. Like dying in a day, you just have a much harder time dying. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something from this, and I'll see you guys in the next guide, which will most likely be a level 100 rundown of both my level 100. So yeah, peace out everybody.